Hello, my name is McKaylee Fortner. I'm an RN that is applying to the RN MSN program at ASU, and this is my interview. So I want to address the first question, which is telling you guys about my journey in nursing and education and kind of why I chose this specific program. So my journey in nursing kind of started when I was a teenager. I honestly would have fainted at the sight of blood, guts, all of that. Anything having to do with anything inside the body, I was like, no, absolutely not. And then I worked at Chipotle, and I had this coworker who was going through nursing school, and she was telling me about it. And still, I was like, I don't know. I don't think anyone could pay me enough to do that. That's disgusting. I laugh about it now because I not at all the same person today at all. In fact, overnight that person changed. I went to bed that night and I woke up the next morning and it was like a switch got flipped in my brain. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. That is my purpose. And it was so much more than a job and money and all of that. It was, I want to help people. I want to be there in their most vulnerable times. I want to be the change in healthcare. It was so drastic that I knew that it was just who I was, I just needed something to kind of trigger it and put it into that chain reaction. So shortly after, my grandmother with Alzheimer's moved in with us from Illinois. My mother and I became her full-time primary caregivers. So I dropped out of high school and I did what any other reasonable high school dropout did and go straight to college. So I went to college, I got my LNA, and I started working in healthcare. And I did that to get a better understanding of how I could care for my grandmother. And also I knew I wanted to do nursing, that I had no doubt about it. So at the age of 16, I enrolled in the class. And when I was 17, I graduated the class and I was an LNA at the age of 17. My grandmother really gave me a perspective of healthcare. And when I started working at the nursing home, in congruency to my care for my grandmother, I started to realize not everyone gets this intimate personal care that my grandmother gets at home with my mom and I. Yes, our family, but random strangers deserve that same kind of care. So my passion for healthcare grew exponentially in an environment that a lot of people don't like in healthcare, which is the nursing home. There's horror stories about it, but that's where my love for nursing really flourished, because it was where I saw the most vulnerable. And not the good sides of healthcare. I saw the ugly very fast in my career, and I still wanted to be a part of the change, and I still wanted to be in this amazing career field. So that's kind of my nursing journey. I've worked in a lot of places. I've worked in hospice, OR, nursing. I've worked on the COVID unit on the floor. And then obviously my experience in nursing school, being in L&D and critical care and all of that. So I've had a lot of experience and I love every second of it. Now, what led me to this program, the RN to MSN program at ASU, was my best friend from nursing school actually applied to this program. And I was like, MSN, what could I do with an MSN? And I surely realized that I could do so much with that degree. A lot of people see bachelor's degrees and they just see it as, oh, it's just extra money you have to pay at a few classes, and then you're still just a registered nurse. Not just, but that's their opinion. And I was so excited to get my BSN, and I started looking into MSN and kind of just the next level education that you get with MSN, to where you can not just educate the next generation of future nurses, but help encourage colleagues to enforce evidence-based practice and kind of what's current and new, and then just go deeper into medicine, in learning leadership and just all the things. And I suddenly was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this program. So it was just so, it was very encouraging, because I kind of didn't know what to do after nursing school. And very shortly, when I found this program, I realized that this was my next step. So the third question of the second question, how will this program help me my short-term and long-term goals? Well, short-term goals, I think it'll just meet the goal of me constantly gaining knowledge and perspective in healthcare. I always say, if you're not teachable, if you're not two things, if you're not teachable and you're not organized, you're dangerous in healthcare. And I find those things to be very true. Know-it-alls are very dangerous in healthcare. And people who are unorganized, very dangerous in healthcare. Those are the two things that you have to do and have to be to really, really give your patients the best care and to avoid any near misses or, any events. And then just giving your patients the best care possible. That's what they deserve. Everyone deserves. That is the human right, is deserving the best healthcare possible. And I want to be a part of that change, and I want to be a part of that best healthcare. I do understand this is an online program, and I know a lot of new grads come out of nursing school and they're working floor jobs and they're working night shifts, and it's a hard adjustment, and they're overwhelmed and they're having all this stress, whether it's in the ER or med surg. With the patient staff ratio nowadays, they're stressed out and they're frustrated, and by the time they get home, they don't want to do homework. Well, I'm very blessed in the fact that I got offered a job in an orthopedic outpatient OR. So I'm a circulating nurse. I work 4/10s during the week. So I have 1 weekday off and then the whole entire weekend. So I have a lot of time outside of work, in the sense of when I'm outside of work and I'm home. I don't bring work with me because I'm very thankful and blessed in the fact that no one's life is being immediately threatened. Obviously, there's infection prevention, all that stuff. So, but in regards to someone's life, like a person coding every 5 minutes, that doesn't happen at my job. So I'm able to be present at work, or at work and at home, fully present. And I'm able to dedicate time to studies, to family, to all of the things. And my husband, I get off around 3 p.m. My husband gets home around 6 to 7 p.m. So I have about 3 to 4 hours where I can dedicate homework time, study time, research time, and then I have 3 whole days off in addition to that time after work that I can dedicate to this program. So I don't anticipate any time management disturbances or barriers, shall I say, with this program, with the RN to MSN program. So I'm very hopeful in that, and I'm very excited to kind of be learning at my job and learning in this program, if I get accepted, which I hope I do. So the last but not least, kind of a study plan with, or in the sense of the population health clinical experience. And if I feel that I can find a preceptor that is a graduate prepared nurse for me to precept under for 45 hours. I am so blessed in the fact that I have multiple graduate nurses that I know up here in Flagstaff that aren't just graduate nurses in the sense of, working day-to-day jobs, but they're passionate about making changes in healthcare and even preventative care and research. And one's a director of the surgery center. There's so many that I would just love to precept under. Especially under the population health clinical experience. I have 3 that I can name. So I'm really excited. Honestly, no matter who it is out of the handful that I have, I will just be so grateful to precept under them and kind of let them mentor me. So in conclusion, I want to thank you guys so much for your time and for your consideration for me with the RN to MSN program. I am so excited to hear back from you guys. I feel hopeful in this journey, and no matter what it is, I know it happens for a reason. So thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to hear from you.